Right, continue.
So, as you were saying, everything is midah keneged midah. Everything is measure for measure. So what happens when you have every one of these sins was against, every one of these plagues was against a sin that the Egyptians were doing. And so the Egyptians were getting punished for what they were doing against the Jewish people. Now we explained a few things of what they went through and what they did. And we got to the end where we say, what happened at Kriyat Yam Suf? What happened at the splitting of the Red Sea? Because there, the Jewish people, that was the biggest punishment on all the Egyptians. All the Egyptians died there. So what happened? The other things, we have a midrash from Chazal that they say that the angels, when all the Egyptians were dying, they started to sing. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I don't want you guys to sing. Those are also my creations. I also created. So why are you guys singing? Now, why is that such a difficulty? Because if we look at what happened with Chizkiyahu HaMelech, the king Chizkiyahu, Sencheriv came to conquer Jerusalem. He conquered all the northern kingdom, and he came to conquer Jerusalem. And what happened? Chizkiyahu said, you know what we're doing? There's no gius. No one's going to the tzava, everyone's going to yeshiva. Exactly opposite of what they're doing today. So he put everyone into yeshiva. They started learning. He said, if you come out of the Beit Midrash, he's like, he put his sword down. He says, if you come out of the Beit Midrash, I'm going to kill you. So they were learning pretty good. Now what happened? They went to sleep, and in the morning, what happened? The angels went out and they sang. And the song that the angels sing took the lives of all the army of Sancheriv. And so you see, okay, well here the angels are singing, and that's causing the death. But in the splitting of the Red Sea, the Kadosh Baruch Hu says the opposite. It's forbidden to sing. So what happened? Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted there to be this idea of midah keneged midah. He wanted there to be measure for measure. Now what we came here to punish, the Egyptians were throwing all the Jewish babies into the water. And so just like they caused Jewish babies to drown, their punishment was that they would be drowned. And so if you kill them in a different way, they're not going to get the same punishment that they would have gotten otherwise. And that's why they got this very specific punishment, because the Kodesh Baruch Hu says, I never do anything out of just because it's achzariyut, and because it's fun for him to destroy. Chas v'shalom, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is all mercy. So if someone has something that he needs to be punished more, he's going to get the punishment. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always going to bring it down. He's never going to bring it up. He's always going to be merciful. He's never going to bring someone more than is coming to them. And so that's Kadosh Baruch Hu and its mercy. Of course, people, you have major sins. People are still violating the Shabbat. They're still getting mixed in with the Goyim. So there still has to be. It's not just, you can get away with it whatever you want. There is still punishment. There is still a system of justice. But there's a lot of mercy. There's a ton of mercy. One of this Shabbat, Bezrat Hashem, we're going to be reading Parashat Tzav. And it's also going to be Shabbat HaGadol. Parashat Tzav brings in a lot of the sacrifices, a lot of the korbanot that were voluntary. And so it brings in the korban todah, the Thanksgiving sacrifice, nidava, voluntary sacrifice. And so if you look at all of the sacrifices, all of them are with matzot. All of them are matzot except for the korban todah. The korban todah, the Thanksgiving sacrifice, has 4 different types of bread. And each 4 types of bread, you have matzot, you have lechem, you have cakes, you have all sorts of different types of bread. It's like you go to the bakery, you get your box of all the different pastries you want. And everything is 10 times. So you have 40 different types, you have 4 different types, you have 40 loaves of bread and cakes and everything. And how much time do you have to eat it? 1 night. If you get to the morning, that's it, it's all forbidden. So the obvious question is going to be, okay, so what do we do with this stuff, first of all? Yeah. And why is this specifically going to be with chametz, with leaven, with bread, and not with matzot? And why is all the other bread products with matzot? And now that we're near Pesach, what is the connection between Pesach and all of the other stuff. So we know that there's a mashal, there's a metaphor for chametz and for matzah. That chametz represents ga'ava, haughtiness, and matzah represents anava, to be anav, to be humble. And so you see that matzah is very low. We call it alach ma'ania. It's the lechem of oni, the lechem of lowliness, and bread on the other hand is big. It's been puffed up, and even if you have 1 kilo of flour and 3 cups of water, it's the exact same ingredients. The only difference is I gave this time to puff up, and this I threw straight in the oven. It didn't have time to puff up. And so you see, you started out with the same ingredients, but this turned into something big, and this stayed something small. So the chametz is connected to ga'ava, haughtiness, and the matzot are connected to anava and to anava, which is humility. So when